Okay, welcome back to Fable Talk. This is episode 11. Today I'm going to talk about something that's really important for the future of Fable's End, particularly as it relates to how Fable's End will be sold, how it will affect our distribution, and how it will affect any of our backers for Kickstarter. So, I wanted to spend a brief moment to talk a little bit about how tariffs work, how they will affect us. I don't want to get too bogged down by details because this isn't the most interesting topic to talk about. It's not the most exciting topic to talk about, but it is the real situation that we're in. I will give you sort of a brief explanation as to what this means for us. If you have followed the Kickstarter updates, I did do a brief description of what a tariff is and how it works. There's a lot of misinformation out there currently about what a tariff is and what it does, what it's supposed to be used for. It is, I know that for some of you, you probably already know this, and I apologize if I'm repeating information you already know. So basically, a tariff is an import tax that a company will pay when they import a good. For Dragonleaf, our company, that's our game is Fable's End, what is going to happen is when our game arrives from China, all of the components of that game, so we have, our game mats, our coins, our core sets, our sleeves, when those arrive at the port of entry, wherever that may be, that it's probably going to be in California somewhere, we will have to pay a tariff, and that tariff is whatever the percentage will be for that tariff when it arrives at that port of entry. And the tariff, the percentage of that tariff, so let's say that it's a 100% tariff on Chinese goods, that means that whatever we paid for those goods to have them manufactured, we will have to pay 100% of that cost. So if we paid $20,000 to have all of our goods manufactured, then we will have to pay $20,000 in import if the tariff is 100%. There are reasons for this. I won't get into why this is what a tariff does or why this is how it works. There's a whole... but many of you can look this up if you want. I'm happy to explain it to anyone that has a question about it. As to what it's supposed to do or why it's supposed to be that way. But we will end up paying the tariff when it arrives at the port of entry. This has made things very complicated for us, as it has for most small companies. As many of you know, we're a small company. We barely scrapped together enough money to get these games produced, and we've tried to get money together to to have some more working capital for ourselves as a business outside of Kickstarter, and we have secured some. It's not a lot of money. That is still in question for us. We're not sure exactly how that is going to unfold, but what we do know so far is that the current percentage on the current tariff on Chinese goods, as it pertains to the general manufactured general goods from China, is 125%. There is more to this than what it appears on the surface. Obviously, there are exceptions. Tariffs can be paused. The way that the current administration is handling the way that they're handling tariffs and foreign trade is that every, week or so, this tariff situation could change dramatically. I know at one point it was 20%, then it kicked to something like 80%, and now it's 125%. By the time the games hit the port of entry, it could be 200%. We don't know what's going to happen. So that leaves us in a very precarious position as a company, because it means that we have to ensure that we have the capital in order to pay the tariff, whatever it may be, when it arrives in the port of entry. Otherwise, it gets stuck. If a shipment arrives at a port of entry in America and you're unable to pay the tariff, that shipment remains in the port. It's frozen. You can't get to it. There's nothing we can do. If it is left there unattended, there are all sorts of things that can happen. It could be stolen. It could be tampered with. There's no guarantee that we would be able to retrieve that shipment. There is a possibility it could be destroyed. It could be as part of the policy of our trade negotiations or the way that we run our ports. Imports that are not claimed within 30 days could be, sent to the junkyard, incinerated, whatever. I don't know. There's a lot of unknown here. And to be honest, we're still trying to figure out how all this stuff is going to affect us. And it's difficult for me to continue to say this to everybody because, the thing that I really want everyone to experience, is I just want everyone to have their games. And I don't know what the future of Fable's End will be. All I know is that you will all get your core sets. If you ordered a core set with us, if you either pre-ordered one or you support us on Kickstarter, you backed us, you will get what we promised you. Our core sets are coming. You're going to get them soon. We are still waiting on some confirmation, so there are things in motion that I haven't announced yet because I really wanted to make sure that everything was running smoothly before I made an announcement, because this process has been so fraught with unexpected hurdles that we've had to jump over, and the last thing I want to do is make a promise I can't keep. So I've been very skittish about announcing things for certain, particularly as it pertains to fulfillment. And for that, I'm sorry. I want to be more communicative on that front. But the last thing I want to do is to tell you guys, hey, it's me again. I'm going to say the same thing I said last time, which is there's a lot of unknown here and we don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if that's particularly useful. I understand that regular communication is important, and please understand that if you haven't been hearing from me or you haven't felt like there has been enough communication, one, I apologize. That's I can take responsibility for some of that. I need to explain a little bit of how my situation works as a game designer, board game company owner. I work full-time. I am a freelancer, so I do have time off sometimes where I can just devote a ton of time to Fable's End. And right now is not one of those times. The past 2 months have been incredibly busy because the first 2 months of my year were very slow. I often get home from work. I mean, right now it's 9:37. I'm recording this. I got home at probably 7:30, made some dinner, was trying to address the other things I need to address for the game, putting a weekly meeting agenda together for my design team. And now I'm recording this, and I'll be honest with you, I'm really tired. It's very hard to come home from a full day of work when you've been working for weeks on end and to have the energy and the willpower to continue to press forward and check boxes. That's not an excuse. I understand, this part of this whole experience is that no one is going to make this happen for me. And, I have to take responsibility for that. So I hope that gives you a little more context as to what this is like outside of, the communication you've experienced via the Discord or via the Kickstarter updates. Rest assured, every day is a Fable's End day, so something's happening. It's not like the funds went through in Kickstarter and Kwame and myself just laughed ourselves all the way on a vacation somewhere. Neither of us have seen any money from this project. If anything, we've put more and more of our own money into this, and it looks like because of the way the tariff situation is unfolding, we will probably have to spend even more of our personal finances to make this work. That is okay. I'm not upset with that, outside of the fact that I think it's going to make it really hard for us to be profitable this year. We'll see. I mean, there are things, anything can happen, and I'm open to all sorts of whatever good fortune may be around the corner. I'm open to it, but we are a business and we have to be realistic about the money. And so, just for whatever it's worth, the anytime we do anything, if we go to a convention, if we are researching prototypes, we are reaching out to any kind of advertising or what's the word, influencer, we're doing so out of our own pockets. Like, we are spending our own hard-earned money. So I'm working basically to fund this project, in addition to paying my rent and getting groceries and having some semblance of savings. And I don't know if that's helpful for anyone to hear. I don't know if that's something that anyone cares about. I feel like it, full transparency. I hope you all understand that, the delay in this project that I keep feeling like I have to explain is partially the circumstance. It's partially things that are out of our control. It's partially that we are learning things as we go. And I feel like I need you all to know that coming from me. I felt like it was very important coming from me personally that you all heard this side of the story. So there's nothing you all have to do on this front. This is not a plea for extra funds. We're not setting up a Patreon or anything like that yet. But it's more just a full transparency. I have to be honest with you about what's going on, how tricky it is to manage this whole situation because the tariffs keep going up and down. There's pauses out of nowhere. They could double tomorrow. If they doubled tomorrow, we don't know how we would financially take care of that. It would require us to we would have to have tens of thousands of dollars in extra capital in order to make that happen. And we just don't have that currently. So, push comes to shove, we will find a way to make it work, because I'm committed to fulfilling all of my backers, and also to anybody that pre-ordered the game. This complicates a lot of our fulfillment, but we are going to find a way to make it work. And I'm not exactly sure, we don't have all of the solutions, but we have some plans that there are things we can do on our end. A lot of it is trying to find funding in other places, and some of that has been reasonably successful. Some of it has not been successful, but a lot of it is, you just keep trying, and somebody might give you a loan at some point. So basically, the long short of this is that I wanted to give you a quick little update as to what's going on our end, and that there's a lot of uncertainty with the way that the foreign market is currently working. Foreign affairs and trade between the United States and China. I'm sure everyone has heard about this. Anybody that's backing any other project right now that's on Kickstarter, that's a board game, has probably gotten some messaging about this. And if that's the case, then I don't mean to be a broken record here. I don't mean to. I'm not trying to belittle anyone's intelligence. If you already understand tariffs perfectly well, then that's amazing. And I'm not trying to beat anyone over the head with this. I just think it's useful to review exactly what's going on and how it affects us. It's unfortunate, and we are going to do our best to figure it out. That being said, there is a lot of things to look forward to. Fable's End as a game has really shaped up to be something special. It is something I really believe in, despite my fatigue. And sometimes there is a lot of I don't want to say self-doubt. That's not the right word for it. It's more like it burns me out sometimes. And that burnout is very real. It's hard to put your entire self into something for 5 years, and to feel like that moment of getting the game in people's hands just keeps getting further and further away, and the closer you get to it, there's a new obstacle, and it's really really challenging. And it does wear me down a lot, and it's particularly hard to know how to move forward when I'm trying so hard to do everything, and I can't do everything, but we can't hire people because we can't afford it. And it's a shame because I think this game has a lot of potential, and I know the people that are involved in the project and who I am eternally grateful for. You all know who you are. They are the ones that have really helped me to become more invigorated when I'm feeling burnt out. And I hope to do right by them because they've given me so much, and they've given this project so much, and they've put so much of themselves into this. And it really, if there was ever doubt in myself that this wasn't worth it, they have shown me that it is. And I owe all of them a bit of gratitude. Not just a bit. I mean, I owe them so much. All of you as well who are listening to this, I owe you so much. And I want you all to know that it really matters to me that you're listening to this and that you care. And I hope that I can live up to whatever expectations you have of this game and what it will become in the future. And for whatever it's worth, now that this has become basically an open confessional, I consider this to be my life's work. And that's not something I say lightly. There are a lot of projects that I've wanted to do over the years, and a lot of them I have not followed through with. And this is one that really, really means something to me. And it's very important to me that this sees the light of day, that it lives up to its potential. And everyone here has given me the courage and the feedback that has helped me to take this to the next level. So I just hope that we can make it work. And I would really like for all of you to see the new expansions because they're awesome. And the new stuff that is designed behind closed doors and that, isn't quite finished yet, but it's so exciting. And I think that once the card pool starts growing for Fable's End, the game will be something special. And if you can just stick with us a little bit longer and help us to get this to the next step, I think it'll be worth your time. And I want to make it worth your time. And I feel very committed to building something and designing something that all of you will enjoy and find plenty of, I don't know how to say it. I want to make something that lasts for you all. That I want to make something that you can really engage with, that can be a lifestyle for you, that you could come to this game and get something that you wouldn't get from any other game. And whether that be access to me, whether that be, bringing you in on the team, whether it's just having more involvement in the process, or this game just strikes chords with that really resonate with you, or it takes the genre and directions that no other game is doing. I want all of those things. So there's a lot of silence in this because it's a lot for me. And I just want you all to know that sometimes it's really hard to do this. But I know it's worth it. Thank you all so much for listening, for taking your time, for supporting this, for allowing this to grow, for giving me a chance, for giving the game a chance. We'll see you next week for another episode. Join our Discord. It's a fun place. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're not already subscribed. That helps us out. It is one of those things where the more people that we can center around the game, the better the game has, the better chance the game has to become a success. So, I know these are little things. I think a lot of times I've seen a lot of YouTube videos and people will say, "Hey, subscribe," and it just feels like meaningless at this point. But it really does matter. Even if it's a handful of subscriptions, it means something to me. For in a world full of influencers who have millions of subscribers and who have, they can, it just, for every grain of rice in the world, they have a subscription or they have a view. We're getting 15 views per video, 30 views per video. And those numbers really matter to me. So anything helps. But I will talk to you soon. Stay tuned next week. We'll be back. We'll have some guests. It'll be a lot more fun than this episode, I swear. We'll share some exciting stuff with you, and there's more to come. So we'll see you later.